Ooh. All right, today on Feathers Off-Road, we are going to explore Trail 143, looks like. I've seen this trail off the side of the paved road many times. There's a lot of single track up in this area. I have never pulled off and taken this trail, so that's what we're going to do today. I just aired down the bike, and actually a couple side-by-sides just drove past me right here, but let's see how it goes. Probably have to pass them here in a second. What I didn't know at the time was how quickly the weather was changing. Normally mud is not a concern for me. Most of the trails that we ride are dirt and rocks. We see mud, but it isn't the majority of the conditions that we ride in. I mentioned the mud because right now on this bike I'm running the Continental TKC 70 Rocks tire. I had been running the TKC 80, but there was a large recall on that tire in the US. It became really hard to find. Inventory hasn't totally caught up yet. So I've got this TKC 70 Rocks. I'd say maybe a 70-30 tire. It does have blocks, but they're a lot closer together. The blocks are bigger, a little more of a off-road bias than just a straight like 80-20 something with no knobs at all. Anyway, I was hoping to get a little more life out of my rear, so I moved away from the traditional big block tire for this round. For a lot of the stuff, like this off-camber, rutted, rocky kind of mixture of the trail, like it actually hooks up really well in this kind of terrain. Kind of a weird rock. It's like almost packed. It's rocky, but it's like packed down. Since learned to hang on with my shins a lot more. I don't know if I dare to turn this into a log jumping video. I really don't have a great place to practice jumping logs at home. It's not going to be a log jumping video. Except I literally drove across the road, found 3 smaller logs, and made a log jumping video, which you can see here. I dumped the bike a number of times in that one, but check it out. Today feels like it's going to be hill climbs. The trail kept alternating between like packed hard rock and then these water pools in the middle of the road. Normally this trail would be just completely dry, pretty loose gravel you can just fly through, but definitely getting into that part of the year where the water's hanging around a lot more. Really pretty to explore up in here, but not long after this is really where it started to get muddy for the rest of the day. Alright, pretty muddy. Dropped it once more back there in the mud. But this is kind of the top of this section. This is just a little, let's say, detour. Mud is just like ice. I'll find a better line through here. That was a lot better. It's very rocky. So always know what you're going to slam into. Tools. I guess we're just getting covered in water today. It's pretty dry. I'm surprised to see this much water. Oh. That was the ice I was talking about. Probably these are not the best tires for this kind of mud. Kind of recap thoughts on this trail. Definitely this kind of stuff has been the most challenging. With these tires and this mud, it was like being on ice. The rocks, there's a lot of rocks, but rocks really haven't been. Ooh. That almost went bad on the wrong side of the mountain. But the rocks really haven't been bad. Just that mud. Ice. Mud. Ooh. Like ice. All right, I'm going to make an executive decision and not go through this. Not because I couldn't do it, because I definitely could, but because, again, I'm alone, and really my only good line is on the left, and then really on the left. I could do it, but I think I'm going to get stuck or in a position that I don't want to be in. So, this is me chickening out. Oh, it's starting to rain too. So perfect timing. This is what's making it difficult. These are the Continental TKC 70 rocks. And they're just not throwing the mud out. Great for everything I've had them on so far, but not for mud. So let's see if we can get out of here. I'm hoping to hit this hole in the storm and get out without being too much more wet than I am. Woo! Degree of difficulty just went up on this ride. On top of the mud I already had, and my tires being filled with mud. Now all the rocks are wet. Well, everything is wet, I should say. Still moving okay, but definitely going to take me a bit to get out of here. And now look at this, what it's turned into. Not 10 minutes down the trail. Blue skies. This is classic Utah weather. Really amazing down that canyon. Okay. I wanted to look again at these TKC 70s now that I'm back in the dirt parking lot here. And you can see, eventually it did kick out all that mud. It's looking pretty good compared to how muddy everything else is. So I would say probably actually a good mix. If you're not running into mud a ton, like I don't run into mud that much. And this is the first time that these tires have had no traction. So I would say if you're not doing a ton of mud, this might actually be a pretty good tire. I mean, I should count how many miles I've got on those. They are getting pretty worn down, but I have had great traction everywhere I've been up until today in that mud. So definitely not a heavy mud use. To wrap up, I wanted to give a rating for each type of conditions I've ridden in with this tire. So, dry pavement, excellent. Wet pavement, excellent. Packed dirt, great. Gravel, great. Bigger rocks, okay. Logs, okay. And mud, finally, poor. Like ice level poor. To sum up, if I was in an area where I didn't see a lot of mud, I would definitely recommend this tire. If you're going to see a lot of mud, take a pass on this one. So, hope you enjoyed the video, and until next time, enjoy the ride.